Rovers know they cannot afford to slip up against the championship side, who are unbeaten so far in these Super 8s qualifiers. Well, so far, this latest round in the qualifiers, Huddersfield have emphatically seen off the London Broncos 40 points to 4. And the Leeds Rhinos have dealt Salford Red Devils another blow to their survival hopes with that 30 points to 8 win at Headingley Carnegie, those on Friday night. And the table now, after 4 rounds so far, looks like this. Leeds maintaining their 100% record. The Giants currently in second place, and Leigh Centurions really well placed to make the climb into Super League. So far, 3 from 3 for them. Can they maintain that today against the side just below them in 4th place in that qualifiers table, Hull Kingston Rovers? London Broncos currently 5th. The Salford Red Devils down in 6th place at the moment. Will they be taking part in that £1 million game between the 4th and 5th sides? Featherstone and Batley Bulldogs yet to get off the mark. So that could change, will change tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Fox's Biscuit Stadium for the Bulldogs against Featherstone Rovers in the remaining game in this round of qualifying fixtures. Well, Hull Kingston Rovers preparations have been disrupted by off-the-field problems with their mercurial number 7, Albert Kelly. He has been suspended for a breach of club discipline. So he misses today's game, and there are talks ongoing to see when he will be returning. Ben Cockayne is at fullback, Ken Seo, Thomas Minns, Ian Thornley, Josh Mantellato, and the halfback combination in Kelly's absence is young Matty Marsh, just 19 years of age, and the very experienced and versatile Maurice Blair. In the forwards, Mitch Allgood, Sean Lunt, Dane Tills, Chris Clarkson, James Greenwood and Adam Walker. That's the Hull Kingston Rovers starting 13. And on the bench, they've got Kevin Laroyer, James Donaldson, George Lawler and Rob Mulhern, who comes into the side today. Coach, James Webster. Now then, the Leigh Centurions strengthened from their last appearance by the return from suspension of Greg Worthington in the centres. Worthington was suspended for 2 games, having been sent off for fighting against the London Broncos. So Worthington comes in, Willie Tonga drops out. It's Greg McNally, Adam Higson, Worthington and Mitch Brown in the centres, Matty Dawson, and the halves Martin Ridyard and Josh Drinkwater. And in the forwards, Dane Weston, Mickey Hyam, Gareth Hock, Corey Patterson, once of Hull Kingston Rovers, Rennie Matua and Danny Tickle, who comes into the starting lineup today. And then on the bench, Harrison Hansen, Sam Hopkins, Andrew Dixon and Liam Hood. And the coach is Neil Dukes. It is a very, very rainy day. It has turned into a very rainy day here in East Hull. The rain started to fall about midday and hasn't really relented. Steady downpour, and that is going to no doubt affect the game plan of these two sides, both though with pretty good kicking games as part of their armoury. But Rovers, they will miss Albert Kelly, and the story there is that Kelly was given leave to return home during the Challenge Cup break with an agreed return date. He did not return at the stipulated time, and in the words of the Hull Kingston Rovers head of rugby, Jamie Peacock, his actions were very disappointing ahead of such a significant game, and so Kelly has been suspended from this. Now, we were warned that this would happen. Hull FC, Wembley winners 2016, just rubbing it in from the other side of the city. A group of Hull FC supporters have hired that plane. I understand it's actually flown all the way from Blackpool, so it's not only flown over this stadium, it's probably flown over Leigh as well, and it's arrived here just to tell the Hull Kingston Rovers, just to remind them what the side from the other side of this Rugby League Man City achieved at Wembley last weekend. And despite their defeat at St Helens last night, Hull FC still hoping that they can achieve a double, maybe even a treble this season. For Hull Kingston Rovers though, The priority is Super League survival. Chris Clarkson leading out the Rovers side. Mickey Hyam, such an experienced campaigner, leading out a Leigh Centurions team who really do fancy their chances in this game. They have beaten Salford Red Devils last time out, Super League opposition. Can they do it today against another Super League side, Hulkingston Rovers, who finished 11th place in the regular Super League season?
It's going to be a big ask for them. Hull KR, there's a lot of pressure on that man, Maurice Blurt. But you look at Leigh Centurions, you look at the weather, it could be a real leveler. The forwards that Leigh Centurions have got, they're big, they're aggressive, they can all play rugby. And I do believe that if Hull KR trying to keep this game tight and just do one-up rugby, they could be beaten by a Leigh side who, over the last 3 years, they've topped the table in the championship. They've got 3 from 3 in the qualifiers. They're up against a Hull KR side that are littered with stars that can score points. They need to be in a determined mood, though.
Well, confidence is one of those commodities that's very valuable in these do-or-die games. And I believe that Leigh Centurions will have the most and the greatest confidence. They're on a winning run. Postman Pat and Jessica Cat, they agree with me. They've just delivered the match ball for this fascinating contest. Robert Hicks could have his hands full, some big aggressive forwards. There'll be a little bit of fire for the first 10 minutes.
Well, another victory and a second against Super League opposition would mean Leigh would be guaranteed at least a place in the £1 million game at the end of this season, but they feel they don't need to trouble themselves with that.
Hold on.
As that aircraft makes another pass over the Lightstream Stadium. We're underway. Centurions kicking us off. And first touch for Rovers and Thomas Minns. And an intense from Leigh with the first tackle in the game. Whoa, they say. The Centurions players with that tackle, forcing Minns into touch.
But what about that start from the Leigh Centurions, getting numbers in. Minns trying to get to his ground, been held up by Worthington. He did a very good job in defence. The René Matua just gets in, adds his weight to that tackle. That's a tremendous start for the Leigh Centurions. Can they pull some points here?
Well, what a statement that is from the Centurions. There's René Matua, who was honoured at the Leigh Centurions Awards night early this week with a special presentation because he's retiring at the end of this season, and some amazing tributes, I'm told. Willie Mason and others, Jonathan Thurston among those who sent video tributes to René Matua for that night. So he's inspired going into this game by the look of things. Are the Centurions inspired? Here is Matua now. He certainly looks up for this one.
They've got good movement every time they have the ball, Leigh, close to the opposition's line.
They're in possession now. And Rovers, if they didn't know already, they have got a big job on their hands here today. Hyam surveying the opposition ranks, and then the little kick, the little grubber kick. There could be an ear, or Patterson went for it, couldn't get a touch to it, and Rovers come up with it through Josh Mantellato. It was there for Corey Patterson.
He does well to get that ball, Josh Mantellato, who's under an awful lot of pressure from the ricochet from the kick. And there's a penalty here for Hull KR. Well, Darren Weston, one of the standout figures for the Centurions this year. He gets underneath, tilts along with Mickey Hyam, upends the prop forward, and the penalty's awarded.
And Mickey Hyam is, there's the banner.
Listen, hang on, that's not my issue, exactly.
And just to remind those Rovers supporters, as if they needed reminding, they've already had a tortuous week with their neighbours crowing about their Wembley achievement.
Penalty.
Meanwhile, Leigh penalised. Well, that's a great start with that tackle on Minns, didn't turn into anything, and now they concede the penalty. Hyam's tackle on Mantellato penalised by referee Robert Hicks. Just making his mark early on in the game, and Weston in with the tackle. And that's...
Well, he's looking to get the penalty. Again, a big shot from Patterson here. He goes high on all good changes. His foot, look at the line. I know you can see the high
You don't need to
shot
run in,
from
Dane.
Patterson.
It's my job to deal with this.
Said it's always going to be physical, this, Bill.
Corey Patterson, who did have a spell at Hull Kingston Rovers, made 17 appearances for the club. But now, having been under pressure in the opening minutes of the game, Rovers with back-to-back penalties in a position to put some pressure on the visitors. Here is Dane Tilse, the man, the only ever present in this Rovers side so far this season, which is a great achievement for the big prop forward. Incident off the ball there, and it's another penalty, I think, and it's Patterson again, who's, well, it was Patterson who was the culprit. It's Hyam, and Hyam is wagging the finger at his own teammate, Corey Patterson, for that.
Well, he's on a warning already, Patterson. Well, this is tense, nervous times. There's 2 points here for Hull KR. You just want to settle the game down. A couple of back-to-back penalties, and Mickey Hyam, look at the frustration. He knows you can't give field position and points.
Well, the enthusiasm could be their enemy. There's Robert Hicks giving the team warning. Leigh Centurions, you saw from the very first tackle, and I watched them warm up, the Centurions. They were very physical, they were hitting the pads hard. The forwards were really getting stuck into one another. And unless they learn to control that, I do actually think that Corey Patterson, when he collides with Ben Kane, is a little bit unlucky. The two players collide. Ben Kane ends up landing on his back, and Robert Hicks, probably because of the last 2 or 3 minutes, thinks, right, well, that's it, I've had enough.
Josh Mantellato, who was a late starter this season because of a succession of injury problems, including a detached retina. Well, he's back in the side, and he is a welcome presence. There is Patterson just taking out Kane.
And I agree with Barry, he's probably unlucky to give that penalty away, but the previous couple of penalties that gifted that field position, they were dead set penalties. So they've got to clean up their act and make sure they're disciplined.
Mantellato then, with that successful penalty, gives Hull KR the early points in the game. Here is Tilse, and Leigh Centurions on a warning from referee Robert Hicks, who has certainly let it be known that he is going to be in charge of this one. So Leigh will have to watch their P's and Q's.
Some very tough carries there. Again, good footwork at the line from Allgood. Dane Weston was hunting in defence then.
Outside.
Blair with the kick. And that's a good one from Maurice Blair. What a great kick that is. That might just fight. No, that is superb from Maurice Blair. And what a great chase as well.
Excellent, excellent kick. First of all, he found the space. He split the winger and the fullback. Perfect weight on that kick. And what about that chase? Absolute nowhere for Dawson to go. It's a great start for Hull KR.
Maurice Blair into that kicking role because of the absence of the suspended Albert Kelly, and he's such a versatile player, Blair. He's missed only one game this season. He's played in a variety of positions, and he's partnering Matty Marsh today, the youngster in the halves, so there's a lot expected of Blair, and normally he delivers. Here is Allgood again.
He started the game well, Allgood picked out Gareth Holt, lands on his front. Another strong carry here. We've got from Walker.
Walker, about 15 metres out, he'll play this ball. Sean Lunt. Blair pops the ball over the top, finds Thornley, and Thornley, well, he decided he was going to take him on himself, Ian Thornley. Lunt. Blair, here is Tilse. Right in front of those posts, about 10 metres out, 4 tackles gone. Blair. Quick hands, lovely hands, over the top, and CO steps back in field, still scrambling and scoring. Ken CO manages to get there on all fours. And it's a great start for Hull Kingston Rovers. It didn't look too promising when the first tackle of the game found them ducked into touch, but they've come back well. And Ken CO, with his second try in these qualifiers, extends their advantage after good build-up work from their pack.
Well, what skill in conditions as we've got. Drizzling rain. That's a fabulous kick and chase. James Greenwood running fully 50 metres to make that tackle. And what about the soft hands here and the tip on? Lovely stuff. James Greenwood again involved. And Kensio, he doesn't get those scenarios wrong. Lovely balance. Just watch the soft hands. Matty Marsh has to get that right. Puts it into the space. James Greenwood, although it's a little bit untidy, he finds the right place. Kensio has enough skill to finish it off.
Got 10 tries in the regular season, did Kensio. He's got 2 now in these qualifiers. And that has settled Hull KR's nerves.
A little bit of class on show then, some lovely touches and obviously quality finish from Hull KR.
Mantellato with the rain streaming down now to extend Rovers' advantage. He's pushed that one wide. They lead by 6 points to 0, 6 minutes just over gone.
Well, no Albert Kelly, but the touch here from Matty Marsh, the youngster, under pressure, straight at the line, gives an excellent pass. And Kensio, well, he knows how to finish some tries since his move from Parramatta, made 57 appearances for Hull KR. Certainly one of the quickest players on the pitch.
That'll settle the Rovers' nerves, because Leigh presents a formidable obstacle to Rovers' hopes of survival.
Well, Leigh are a side that know how to win games. They've been challenged. Everyone wants to beat them in the championship. They're 3 from 3 in this competition. And you look at the Rovers, well, they've only won 3 of the last 9 matches, so the confidence surely will be with the Leigh Centurions.
Rovers enter the regular season very much disrupted by a succession of injuries as Blair belts that ball downfield and McNally gathers it and then finds Higson. So Leigh have the ball in hand at last after that passage of play, and they get the penalty.
Well, good stuff. The last time we watched Adam Higson against Salford, he had a sensational game.
Adam, just stand
but it's his work away from the line. He fights hard to play that ball and forces the hand of the referee because of the speed of the play of the ball. The defenders and the defensive line of Hull KR was offside.
It's a good penalty to win, because it's put Rovers back deep inside their own half and defending. Here they come with Danny Tickle into the starting lineup for Leigh today. He's been on the bench so far. Drinkwater. Quick hands, that went forwards, and referee and touch judge agreeing with that one. Greg McNally agreeing as well.
Well, they had the numbers out wide. It's Kensio, the man who scored the try, the opening try. He comes in and he just gets straight into Greg McNally. The fullback comes around the back, he's sweeping line to make up that extra man, but he was cut down from Seal. Very good defence from the outside back from Hull KR.
Much better now, keep that composure.
Greg McNally, now a very experienced fullback, and a very strong attacking presence for this Leigh Centurions side. There's the try scorer, Kensio, tackled by Patterson, who is very busy, as is Rennie Matua. Some real intent in the tackling from the Centurions.
And there's a lot of work from dummy half from that man who's got the ball now is Sean Lunn. He's bringing his forwards onto the ball. He's telling him where he wants them to hit, who he wants them to get at. Good urgency from Greenwood to get up and play the ball. He spotted a smaller man in Drinkwater. Drinkwater gets bumped off on the initial contact, and then he goes back on for the second effort because he's lost that battle and gives that penalty away.
A lot of penalties early on in this game, as you'd expect, probably.
Well, Leigh would probably need the penalties to go their way, wouldn't they? To give themselves a chance.
Lunt. That's another high shot. Liz. Certainly Rover supporters that side of the ground saw something.
It's just Drinkwater. He's getting quick. He's getting up quick on Greenwood, giving him no time and space.
Well, Leigh know they've got to unsettle Hull Kingston Rovers here. They can't afford to allow Rovers to settle into their game and be comfortable, and they're trying to make it very uncomfortable for them. Here is Ian Thornley, who made one appearance for Leigh Centurions when he was a Wigan player and under the dual reg ruling. Thornley plays the ball. Here is Tills, gangly prop forward. That's the 5th tackle. Clarkson, ball over the top, Mantolato on a plate for the wingman, and there was nobody home for the Centurions. It looked as though at one point as though that pass was going to sail over the head of the wingman, but he plunked it out of the air. And another try for Hull Kingston Rovers on the other flank, and this one from Mantolato.
Well, Josh Drinkwater and James Greenwood having a running battle throughout this game, and Greenwood is winning so far. And his second row partner Chris Clarkson, who signed from the Leeds Rhinos for 3 years in the off-season, puts that ball on a plate for Josh Mantolato. It's a little bit high, it's a good job. He's 6'4", but Chris Clarkson's pass finds the very grateful Josh Mantolato, who will attempt to convert his own try.
It's only his 9th appearance of this season, Mantolato, because of these injury problems he's had. He has had this detached retina, had an operation on it, and has taken some recovering, but they've got him back at just the right time for this crucial phase of the season, and he brings points aplenty. He got 334 points for the club last year. He's way off that mark this season because of his absence, but he's making up for lost time now. So his try, can it be his goal as the rain still falls here? And it's a tough start for the Centurions, as Mantolato skims that one towards the post, and it skims away. 10-0.
Well, even in these conditions, Hull KR are willing to throw the ball from one side or the other. They get into the centre field, they're splitting. That was a great ball from Chris Clarkson. Josh Mantolato, he scores the second try. Kensio scores the first try. And they've had 9 set to 6. Hull KR with the ball to Leigh's 3. Leigh need the first share of possession.
Leigh really haven't had an opportunity to get into the Rovers' defence and see just how tough it can be, and it has been a bit flaky at times this season, Hull KR's defence. Remember them being completely put to the sword by the Catalan Dragons in Super League.
To use one of Steve-O's terms, it's not one out from Hull KR. They are moving the ball, and I often say in bad conditions, as we see a lovely offload from Walker, in bad conditions, it's not the fact that you're passing the ball. When you pass it to a player who's under pressure from a defender, that's when things tend to go wrong. Early passes, early ball and ball movement in bad conditions can give you an advantage.
Sean Lunt and Dane Weston just having a little disagreement off the ball. Mantolato has gathered that high kick, it's still on the last, and that'll be the turnover. No, it's... Referee has wiped the tackle count clean then for a moment. He said play on, but then there was the knock on, I think.
Well, there was only Mantolato who really wanted to go for this ball. A couple of the Leigh players were just standing back. That man was urgent. He jumped up for it. Now Leigh have the ball, but again they're trapped in their own half. All the energy seems with Hull KR at present.
First of 2 offerings today, with action to come from the Super 8s, as the Catalan Dragons, still in with faint hopes of making the top 4, take on the Warrington Wolves. They have to win that one to the Dragons, and you'd think they would, with Warrington making a lot of changes. 5 o'clock for that one coming up after us here. Oh, that's a mix-up. The referee didn't see anything wrong with that, as Drinkwater...
He's okay there, Mickey Hyam, because he gives himself up. He runs behind his player, but then he comes into a voluntary tackle, so it's not a penalty.
CO claims that ball.
Well, Leigh Centurions now, can they turn the screw here? They can't give a penalty away. They've got into a good position here on the park. They're nice and tight, they're getting off the line, they're communicating, but they can't be sloppy and give an error away.
Here is Mantellato, took that ball at pace, those legs pumping as he went on to the pass. Now Sio and Rovers, some pace about them. That's the 5th tackle. And Lunt, little grubber kick ahead from Lunt. He'll chase it himself, Sean Lunt. He's still going, he's kicked it too far though, and Hickson will gather. There's a penalty though because there was a shoulder.
There, runs into the path of Sean Lunt. Sean Lunt, what clever play from him when he gets out on the last tackle from dummy half. He chips the ball through, and then you can see Greg McNally runs into the path of the fullback, of the hooker.
He's a talented player, Sean Lunt. He's got that in his kit bag. Good distribution. Obviously, he's got good pace. And we've already seen his kicking game and the ability to change his mind. I think when he picked the ball up initially, he was going to put it deep, saw a little bit of space and took his chances.
So it presents Josh Mantellato with another opportunity to extend Hull Kingston Rovers' lead. He's missed with his last 2 kicks though. This one pretty straightforward for a kicker of his calibre. He kicked a career best 9 goals in the qualifying game against Batley. This for just his 2nd of this qualifying game. That one is on target. And Hull Kingston Rovers just steadily building an advantage. Paul Cook alongside Neil Dukes there, the lead coach. Paul Cook, former Hull Kingston Rovers hero, now on the coaching staff, advising Neil Dukes, helping Neil Dukes. They've got a bit of work to do, and the lead coach thoughtful, as is his opposite number, James Webster, behind the glass there in the stand. But he must be happy. They've seen off the early threat.
Well, Mickey Hyam has just got all his players together, give him a right serve, as the referee, Robert Hicks, just has a few technical repairs. Well, that man's not been happy with the opening 16 minutes of this game. They've given some penalties away, they've given some cheap ball away as well, and he knows that they're in a competition here. It's a big game for the league club today. But the way that Hull KR have started, they've been absolutely excellent all over the park, in the forwards, out wide, and they really are taking this game to Leigh.
The rain still falling. It's probably got into Robert Hicks's wiring, so to speak. It's still getting. There is Mickey Hyam in the foreground there, and a look of anguish on his face at times in this game because he's frustrated, because a lot of the problems Leigh have got are of their own making.
I said it at the beginning of the game. I thought they would go into the match feeling that this was an extremely winnable game, confidence in their favour, that winning run that they've got. But we've already seen the wet conditions causing trouble. I don't think they can blame the start and the conditions. The composure, their excitement, lack of discipline, things that are easily fixed up, little minor adjustments could get them back into it.
And what they've threw at Hull KR when they've had the ball, it's not really been that much. Hull KR have not missed the tackle, they've only made 30. You look at the stats for Leigh Centurions, well, they've made 75 tackles already in this game and missed 6.
And I think when they've been coming away from their own line, Hull KR, I mentioned the ball movement, they've varied that game up a little bit and kept their opposition guessing.
Super 8's action coming up next Thursday on Sky Sports 1 at 7:30 as we'll see St Helens on the Thursday night, and then Hull FC take on Wigan Warriors on Friday, and Leigh Centurions again next Saturday. Huddersfield Giants, the visitors to Leigh Sports Village for that one. Back in business, Robert Hicks has been rewired, and the game resumes with Hull Kingston Rovers leading by 12 points to 0. And the communications, of course, very important. Touch judges, referee and video ref, James Child today, need to be able to hear each other.
That was a good shot, that, from Dane Weston, trying to turn Hull KR players onto the back here now. Now with that man, Sean Lunt, who goes in now at dummy half. He's so dangerous. If there's a quick play of the ball, he's off out of dummy half.
But he leaves two men there. James Greenwood stays tall, refuses to be dominated, even though his legs were locked together. And there's a team warning.
Is that a warning on a warning?
Yes.
I'm warning you. I've warned you once.
Well, enough time's passed from the first warning, so he's let them off with that one. They got back into the game. The referee obviously thought that they'd been disciplined in the final, in the last, what, 6 or 7 minutes.
Well, it's been their downfall so far in this game, this lack of discipline. Penalty count 6-1 in favour of Hull Kingston Rovers, and they can't really complain much about the way it's gone against them. Looked like another high shot. Allgood just gets up, but he'll store that. He's that sort of player, Mitch Allgood.
Just goes in the memory bank for later on. Sure, he'll have his time, Mitch Allgood.
Well, Rovers are having their time at the moment. They're threatening again, and Leigh back on their own try line where they should be, but they weren't. Little grubber kick comes in from Marsh, and that's good work. What good work from young Matty Marsh. Lovely little kick from the 19-year-old former Skirler player.
He's showing some very good touches, isn't he, Matty Marsh, in the early parts of this game. Good chase outside, and here's one that didn't get penalised. You see again, Dane Weston. I do like the way that he plays. He gives absolutely everything to the game, but they've got to make sure they do that in the right area of the park, and they are very controlled. Hull KR can't have all the ball, and again they're just attacking in Leigh's half. Leigh needs to be away from their try line.
Apart from that opening tackle, really, on Thomas Minns, that well, and that maybe since then that's probably been the best moment in the game for the Leigh Centurions. That was a good tackle.
Well, that was a brilliant tackle. See that Hansen, he hits the ball, and then Tickle going over the top, but good initial contact from Harrison Hansen.
Make sure we get Marcus tight and square, please.
He's one of the biggest men knocking around.
Behind each other and in line with the
Dane tilts.
There's plenty to go at, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm sure as
Come on, listen.
Harrison Hansen saw Dane Till's shape to pass the ball. The rib cage is exposed, his eyes lit up, and he thought, I'm having a bit of that, and he forces the error and gives the Centurions back possession.
These two met in the qualifiers last year, and it was a humdinger of a game then, because Leigh led 24-6 at half-time at Leigh Sports Village and looked to be on the way to a famous victory, but Rovers came storming back to win that one 36-26. And Maurice Blair played a big part in that comeback.
Couldn't believe what we were watching in that game. They were so dominant in that first half, and in the second half they just seemed to collapse. I think they're a different side though this year, Leigh. They're more composed. They've got some very good players that have been around the blocks that'll bring you that composure at times when you need it.
Drinkwater puts the kick in. It's a good one. It's a very good kick, and it's well dealt with by Ben Cockayne. Cockayne has managed to keep that ball in the field of play. Corey Patterson not convinced.
Well, he does very well, doesn't he, Ben Cockayne? First of all, to deal with the kick along the ground in these conditions, but then to stay in the field of play. Look at this, he deals with that, got the post to deal with, rolls back over. There's 3 players trying to push him over. They can't do so.
Minns makes a few yards with a neat bit of footwork. And Leigh trying to pressurise Rovers into a mistake that'll give them an opportunity. Lunt belts the kick downfield, not a great one into the arms of McNally, but it's a good chase. He's met by a wall of Robins defenders.
Yeah, he had a lot of time then as well, Sean Lunt. There was a Leigh player that was left on the ground. There was only one marker. And now they get the penalty, Maurice Blair. Well, he's offside, trying to get up and close the Leigh Centurions down.
That's only the second penalty that Leigh Centurions have received. They've given away 6. So could this be the opening that they need?
Drinkwater,
Keep going back.
Ridyard rather, thumps that one into touch.
Go.
And they'll resume only about 25 metres out.
Hold here,
Now
hold.
20 as
Go.
Patterson plays that ball. Here is Danny Tickle now.
2, move Adam back. Hold is 10, John.
Hyam.
Hold, go.
Hock now. Hock trying to put a step on, but that ball's come out. And a great opportunity goes begging again for the Leigh Centurions.
We'll lose that man, Mitch Allgood
0,
goes up hard on
John.
Gareth Hock. Gareth Hock trying to spin out the tackle and give the ball to someone at the back of him.
All right, that's on. Play on.
Frustration
Move, go.
building for the Centurions.
Coming back.
And now they're backtracking.
They just can't get set, though. They're playing the ball far too quick. Hull KR.
Calm down.
Mins didn't like the tackle on him. That ball's been intercepted, though. Thornley got the pass away.
1, move, Ben.
And Harrison Hansen snapped it up.
Well, it's the outside backs for Hull KR that are causing a lot of problems. First CO, then Thornley. He looks to offload the ball, but he just can't get it to his teammate, Matty Marsh.
Is that the break Leigh needed to turn the tide here? Well, that penalty will add to the chances they have now of getting something in this game.
Well, this is what they need. They need to fight to win every single play. Adam Hickson, who was absolutely exceptional when they played against Salford, in defence and in attack. And he certainly earned his side some decent field position here, as this ball will be kicked out of play by Martin Ridyard and just going to be 10 metres from Hull KR's line.
Hold. Go.
So Rovers now with some work to do in defence.
1, move, get
Tickle.
square. Goal line, Ben.
Grimace on his face
Goal
as he
line. Go.
takes the ball up. Hyam now. Short pass for Brown.
2, move, Chris. Line. Hold
Mitch
the
Brown
line.
tackled a few
Go.
metres out. Patterson. Here's Sam Hopkins, and Hopkins
He's over, you
claims
know,
he's
Bill.
over the try line. He is. He's managed to get his way through,
He's the line,
and the
mate. He
Rovers
reaches
players
through,
cannot
doesn't he?
believe that. And Robert Hicks had a good view of that, and Sam Hopkins, just off the bench, gets his first try since May the 1st, and gets the Leigh Centurions back into this game.
Seems to be.
That really came from nothing.
Well, there's a tremendous hit-up, drive, determination from Adam Hickson. James Donaldson and Hull KR penalised. And it's a nice, strong, hard carry, but you have to say that should have been dealt with. There are enough Hull KR defenders around Sam Hopkins to deal with that. He gets the first try of the afternoon for the Leigh Centurions. That might just pump their tyres up a little bit. But it's a lapse in concentration by the Robins.
Yeah, there was a look of disbelief on Ben Cockaine's face when he rolled over and saw Robert Hicks pointing to the spot, because there was no way that Sam Hopkins seemed able to get that ball down, but he did, and Ridyard adds 2 more points, and the Centurions are in business.
Well, there was absolutely nothing on there. He's gone through Clarkson, Allgood, Walker, Ben Cockayne. He's took them over the line. He's just given a little show and go, but his effort and urgency to get that ball over the line. James Webster will be really disappointed with that effort from Sam Hopkins. And then that was his first touch as well.
I thought we were going to see a little bit more involvement from Martin Ridyard in this game. We've had 25 minutes. And during that last set of 6, he touched and handled the ball a couple of times. If he gets excited and engaged in this match, then the Centurions could get a grip of it.
12-6. Hull Kingston Rovers lead. Leigh Centurions in business after a dodgy opening 25 minutes, when they really didn't get a look in, apart from in the penalty count. But now they've got points on the board, and maybe now they'll start to play their game, the game that has made them the side to fear in these qualifiers, but not with passing like that, drifting forward.
Well, Greg Worthington pushes this pass out. He's trying to get it to his winger, Matty Dawson, but Kensio again, he comes in and just puts enough pressure on Worthington, who just tries to flip that ball. It would have been better just taking that ball or just standing with a bit more depth. Because if that's Kensio's plan in this game, if he's going to come in and try and shut that play down at the centre, Worthington needs to be a bit deeper.
I am a nice boy sometimes, honestly. Come on, heads in. Let's get your heads in. Hang on, Matt, hang on. Ball now. Out!
Head and feed then to Hull Kingston Rovers on their own 40-metre line. Here is their captain,
Move,
Chris
square,
Clarkson.
Danny. Back here, hold, go.
Lawler. Young hooker.
2.
Off the bench. That ball's spilled. No. No way, says Josh Drinkwater to referee Robert Hicks.
Well, he's saying that it's a one-on-one. He believes that that's a one-on-one. Rennie Material, Lee misses the tackle. It's a one-on-one there. Nicky Adams not involved. I think that's okay. I don't think that tackle's been complete. That's a one-on-one strip. And from Drinkwater, that ball goes backwards, so it would have been Lee's ball.
Was Mickey Hyam adjudged to have been involved in the tackle? You couldn't say he was involved. He just happened to sort of.
I don't even think he got his hands on him, Bill.
No.
0.
Well, there you go. This is okay.
That's sort of divine intervention, if you like, or is it? Because that ball has been spilled, it'll be picked up. No, it won't.
No advantage.
Because referee Robert Hicks will bring him back. The original knock-on by Rovers.
Yeah, from the first offence there from Mitch Allgood. When he goes into the tackle, Hopkins, well, he offloads the ball. He knows that it's the free play. Chris Clarkson, well, he just plays to the whistle.
Stay up, please.
Well, it's an aggressive start from both sides.
Time's off.
And Lee, when they look in the mood and they get themselves composed and back into the game, they do look like they can mix it with more sides in this division.
Nick?
Sam Hopkins is the player down, and
that's why I've not
that was the tackle on him.
Anymore now.
Well, James Donaldson, we've watched him over a long period of time in his Super League career. He gives every ounce of his body weight into every challenge, whether he's running the ball, making a hit. We've seen him come off second best on a good few occasions. During that one, whether it was a head clash or a shoulder to the head, Sam Hopkins is just taking a little bit of time to get up. There we go, head clash.
It was, as you said, normally James Donaldson would be the one on the ground and then having a concussion assessment, so he's done well to come out of that in one piece as the former Bradford Bull. He has taken some hits in his career and suffered some injuries.
Wasn't it the other week when he played against Hull FC in the derby? From the kick-off, Josh Bowden picked him straight out. He doesn't back down to anybody. James Donaldson, I love the way that he plays.
He's in the front row. He must be about 12 stone wet through the Cumbrian.
Meanwhile, Sam Hopkins is leaving the field for assessment. So from try scorer to the treatment room for a man who had a spell at Wigan Warriors. Sam Hopkins didn't make the breakthrough there, but has been a very big hit in the Championship. Made the dream team in 2012. Corey Patterson, that pass going behind Ridyard. That's a teasing kick, which Higson was chasing, but it just found touch.
Well, kicking on the third player then, looking for Higson. You could see that Josh Mantellato was up in the line. There was a bit of space on the right edge for Higson.
And you can see the thought process behind that, you're right. Mantellato in the line, Ridyard, who I would say is close on the most skillful and has the best rugby IQ on the pitch at the minute. He needs the ball in his hands a little bit more, take a grip of this game.
Morris, please. Ball in. Out!
So, Rovers coming up to the half-hour mark on a wet, slippery afternoon in East Hull. Seems like August and its blazing sunshine is a distant memory. Very autumnal occasion here. End of season sort of atmosphere to it, but a crucial end to the season for these two sides. Super League status is the issue. Rovers have it. Leigh Centurions want it and have got a very good chance of getting it the way they've been going in these playoffs. Big hits abounding.
Got a hot Corey Patterson.
Well
just getting all good in the sights then.
Clear.
Blair. Big kick from Blair. Well taken by McNally. Kept his eye on the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't put himself under any pressure, Greg McNally. Look at that hit from Garapok, and then Corey Patterson comes in to finish him off.
Move, Chris, mate.
Lots of big hits around this weekend.
There's been lots, hasn't there, on the TV games. There's a Catalan game later on to come as well.
Robbie, move! Make me. hold, go, 3.
Half an hour gone. Yeah, half an hour gone.
4, move, Robbie
12-6.
again. Here, George,
Holkingston
hold,
Rovers lead.
go.
They look like they've settled
Last
down a bit
move,
here now,
James.
Leigh.
Me get square.
Tried to start
Go.
off like a house on fire, but they were met and matched by Hull KR. Just play behind this decent kicking game that you talked about before, Bill.
Mantolato fields that kick across the field and is then
One.
gathered by
Move.
3
Back in, get
Centurions.
square. Hold,
Andrew Dixon among
hold,
them.
go.
Brought into the side today by Centurions coach Neil Jukes.
2, move, knee. Come
And it's
on.
always hard in
Hold
these
now,
conditions
wait,
when you're
wait.
bringing the ball
Wait,
away
go.
from your line and the defensive line is a bit tighter because rugby players are taught these days.
3,
First
move,
contact
Corey,
is
get
always
square.
high. Hit
Hold,
around the
Eddie,
ball,
hold.
which makes it
Hold,
difficult
go.
for the man who's carrying the ball to control it if there's numbers there.
Oh, another one.
Dominance.
Harrison Hansen certainly put himself
Hold.
about since
Go,
he come
4.
off the bench.
Marsh then kicks into a good open space and across comes McNally. Robbins corner him almost
One.
literally down at that
Move.
end of the ground.
Hold
A
here.
chance to find out
Wait.
what's happening on
Wait.
the soggy sidelines from Angela.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Hopkins is sitting in the changing rooms at the moment. He doesn't look in a lot of pain. He's not getting any treatment, but he's got to sit out for the full 15 minutes because, of course, it's a head injury assessment that he's undergoing. But it looks as though he'll be available to go straight back on in the second
3,
half.
move, Tom
The
Means.
try scorer should be
Hit me.
back
Hold.
for the Centurions, who
Hold. Go,
trail
3.
by 12 points to 6. Here is Rennie Matua,
4.
finishing
Move.
his career at the end of this season and hoping to finish it by helping the Centurions achieve Super League status.
Last.
They've got a good balance of hookers,
Keep
Lee
coming, go.
Centurions. Liam Hood,
Keep coming, you're
he's
good,
just
man.
come onto the pitch. He's just as sneaky as Mickey Hyam, the man he's replaced.
Mantolato underneath that one.
1.
Gathers
Move,
it well.
Andrew.
He's
Hold
a
it,
versatile
Corey.
player in his own right, is Josh
Hold. Go,
Mantolato.
go.
We've seen him at full-back. That's a role occupied by Ben
2.
Cockayne very
Move,
well at the
Andrew.
moment. Over
Keep coming, go,
200
well done.
Rovers appearances
Go, well,
for
Liam.
their full-back.
This man's been
3.
very good, bringing the
Move,
ball away in
Harrison.
yardage.
Me,
Ken Seal has
me.
never been dominated,
Hold, go.
finds his front. The outside back's doing a tremendous job, and the early tackles of the set.
4, move, Gareth, come on. Work.
Seo is
Hold, go.
just slowly getting to his feet in back play at the moment. Sort of a bit of a knock there.
Last. Move. Make. Wait.
Some of the early pace gone
Wait.
out of this
Go.
game now. The conditions
mate.
certainly must be having an effect in that respect.
10 of you boys. Okay now.
The rain hasn't relented.
Bill, in the early parts of some big games, you play a lot on emotion as well.
Help!
You just want to get into each other, you want to keep it
Hold,
tight, you want to
Morris.
make sure you dominate
Hold.
your
Hold,
opponent.
go.
And Ken Seal, well, he's trying to be led from the pitch here.
Ball out wide.
2.
Finds Worthington, but he's lost that ball. It's good defence. And it's Marsh again.
Tackle 2.
Well,
Knock
referee
on, so
Robert
be a
Hicks,
score.
well, he stops this
Go on,
game
man,
here.
down with
Ken
a head
Seal's gone
injury.
down again in the back.
Come down,
Now
yeah,
he's
I've got it,
gone
mate.
to full back. Ben Cockayne had come up into the line to cover him. And he's still not well now. I think the doctor's leading him from the field. He wouldn't go initially,
better out here.
but this is how strong
Just
he is. He goes
occasionally
straight
too many
into
go
Hood,
early. Let's not go
carries
as a line
that ball.
and wait for the
He said he started the game off very well.
Under that, can only talk
The
for
head
so
clash
long,
with Liam Hood, but he gets up, plays the ball as quick as he can. Can't feel sorry for himself, but he's led from the field, and I'm sure he's going to be coming back on.
Is he all right? Is he
wow.
off?
Look at that, his right eye,
Yeah.
it's all closed up.
I don't know,
He needs
mate.
Mickey to cut him. It's almost
Tight
shut.
heads.
Wow.
Finding the seconds. Thomas
That
Knight, you're
is,
going on me, please. Heads in.
Happened
Ball in.
in a matter
Back
of
on.
minutes on Ken Seo. Kevin Leroy, I think,
Offload.
has come on and change is made. That's another knock on. And it's a Rovers knock on this time, and Lee will get the ball back.
No, mate,
But
you're
Liam
on
Hood
straight
been
down
very
the floor.
excited there from the mistake. Hull KR in these conditions,
No comeback again.
when Clarkson goes in, yeah, he gets a clean offload away. It goes to Ben Cockayne, but Ben Cockayne maybe had just
Time
switched
off,
off.
time
Wasn't
off.
expecting Clarkson to get
Stay
his
up,
arms
boys,
free.
please, with another man down.
We made the comment in the opening 25 minutes they were getting those decisions right. When to pass, when to offload. The skills were good.
right.
Therefore, they were catching the balls, and those offloads looked like God offloads because they were caught. The last couple of minutes, they've dropped off. And Leigh Centurions just beginning to get a grip, and get a foothold in the game.
Head right in, Liam. Ball now, out.
Centurions with Hull Kingston Rovers having to make an adjustment with Kensio off the field, but so too of Leigh, of course, with Sam Hopkins in the same boat.
Hold, go, hand was on
But
it
it's
still.
Leigh now
Three,
with
get
Harrison
square,
Hansen,
George.
20 metres out the Centurions.
Hold. Go.
Coming up to 5 minutes to half-time. What a great opportunity, what a great time this would be for them, but that's good defence on Brown.
Hold, wait.
And that's Ian Thornley on that occasion.
Hold, go. That's
Just cuts Brown down straight away.
Here is Andrew Dixon,
Last.
former
Move, Dick.
Saint and
Go.
Salford. On the last, Ridyard, little grubber kick ahead. Cockayne is there to tidy up, and he's not going to give up on it yet, Ben Cockayne, but he'll have to.
Easy.
Well, that was fantastic play. On the last play, a quick play of the ball, and what does Liam Hood do? He spots that, he gets out,
Time off.
and he creates that space
Stay on.
for that man to kick the ball.
Pulled your leg, didn't he? Sorry.
And it's just very good build-up, professional
more than
play from the Centurions.
Oh, you had to probably gamble then.
First goal line dropout Centurions have forced. Ben Cockayne, 33 years of age now, seems to have been around for a long time in Super League and in the Championship. He's seen a lot in his career. He's a very tough cookie as well.
Nope.
And the goal line dropout is a strong one from Blair over the halfway line. And then it's Hock motoring back, legs pumping, he's still going, Gareth Hock.
I love the way that the likes of Gareth Hock and Dane Weston return the ball. They just identify one player, they pick him out, and they don't change their route.
Harrison Hansen's of a similar sort of philosophy as well, as he plays the ball. Here is Hock once more. Ridyard just had to adjust there to take that pass and lost a bit of momentum. Hock once more. Drinkwater puts a little grubber kick in. Cockayne has knocked it on.
Well, he gets himself in the perfect position, Ben Cockayne. He goes to ground. Again, it's a clever kick. Good weight on it as well, and Cockayne, as he goes to ground, trying to pick the ball up.
There wasn't a drop, it was a bobble. The ball at the last second, end on end, goes up into the face of Ben Cockayne, but you can see from your screen and the TV pictures, it really is teaming down now. Change of direction.
Difficult conditions when you're dealing with a kick like that. And Ben Cockayne, who'd diffused a dangerous situation just a few moments ago, and goal line drop out again, and this time he couldn't handle the kick as it came towards him. And Centurions, can they profit from that unfortunate slip? Worthington loses his footing. 10 metres out they are now. Here is Harrison Hansen and Hock, two former Wigan players, and Hock has lost it. That's another knock on. The referee put whistle to his lips, did Robert Hicks, and then decided to play on.
Well, Gareth Hock, when he goes into this tackle, he's already trying to turn. As soon as he makes contact with the Hull player, he'd preempted to offload that ball. Unfortunately for him and his Leigh teammates, he just can't get that clean offload away.
Patterson, Dane Tilts, I beg your pardon, juggling with that ball. Here's Donaldson ducking under a tackle from Ridyard, but Dixon went down low. Here is Ben Cockayne. Cockayne likewise, head down. Halfway line, Blair, an eye on the clock, drills a good kick upfield.
Well, both teams just up in the ante then when Hull were carrying the ball. It was one off the ruck, then Blair steps up on the last play, comes to the left-hand side of the play of the ball and just knocks the ball out off the pitch. And that's the intelligence you need from some of your senior players. Just take the sting out of the game, just 3 minutes to go to half-time.
In these conditions, field position is imperative. If you make a mistake close to your own line, you're under pressure. If you're firing up off the field, not so much, you can back your defence. And people like Blair, people like Ridyard will be on top of that.
Head and feet Centurions. Closing minutes of the first 40, a very tense, tight affair here.
Hold, go.
And Hull Kingston Rovers still got a lot to do if they are to see off this Centurion side, and Tilth sprawling all over the Leigh player to concede the penalty.
Yeah, well, it's just his second effort again from Tilth. Need a decent kick here, which Ridyard's got. He's kicked it just over the halfway line. So they're going to get another set of 6 here. Rennie Matua comes up with a first strong carry.
One, move, hold.
So an opportunity maybe at the end of this first half for Leigh to narrow the gap still further as Corey Patterson takes him upfield. And then it's picked up by Hood. Hood gets the pass away to Hock, who's on his shoulder. But Hock has lost that ball, and it's another knock-on. Conditions very difficult for these two players, and Hock acknowledging another slip and a slither as Kevin Leroy got in his face.
Well, again, Kevin Leroy, as we said earlier, he just hit anywhere around the ball, and you could force that error. Liam Hood getting out from the quick play of the ball, and Neil Dukes will note that it's not been their half, although they're just 6 points behind. They've given penalties away, they've made mistakes, they've not asked enough questions, and maybe play behind the back of that. Good go forward and dominant kick, and make sure that they do it all on the front foot.
One, release Corey.
So Rovers leading by 12 points to 6.
Two,
but they are in a scrap here, and Leigh, we have seen so many times their ability to come up with some magic even late in a game. A knock on by Rovers that time, and it's an opportunity for the Centurions again. I beg your pardon, he's penalised. Robert Hicks has penalised the Centurions for a ball steal.
First of all, I thought he said that Hull KR, had lost this ball, but you could see Andrew Dixon just pushes that ball out of Ben Kane's grasp. So it's the correct decision.
George Lawler is tackled. There's the, was that a flick from Dixon or just a loose carry? Well, the referee's opinion was that it was a Leigh hand.
I think he gets his arm in there and he makes a play to knock that ball out.
So the penalty, well there again is that divine intervention. Oh dear me, another knock-on.
Time off.
Succession of them.
Well, Gareth Hock.
Knock on by Hull, knock on by
Leigh. He's knocked a few balls on in this game. There's a good shot again. We've seen some very good hits. Harrison Hansen, yet again, getting his shoulder in under the ball, Rob Mulhern.
You're a little bit more deliberate in conditions like this. You don't tend to change direction. Look at that rain.
I thought Robert Hicks was doing the movements to the Birdie song. There were so many knock-ons then.
Come on, boys, let's get going.
Look at that rain.
The ball, boys. Who's your hooker?
Pouring down here.
Because of those conditions, sometimes you just have to pull it back in, and when you know you're going into a tackle, you need to make sure you've got a very good grip on the ball.
Ball in, out.
Eventually, it is head and feet to Centurions as the hooter sounds for half-time, and a tense, tight contest which Hull Kingston Rovers have shaded against a Leigh Centurion side who probably haven't delivered so far in the first 40 minutes. Too many mistakes, too many penalties conceded, but they are by no means out of this game. Only 6 points behind at the break, and Hull Kingston Rovers know full well that they've got plenty of work still to do in the second half here if they are to take another step towards Super League safety against the Centurions.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
When jazz first hit New York hit back. One man heard no color in music. All John Hammond wanted was great jazz.
I've got my mindset on you. I've got my mindset on you. Checking your bank balance with the swipe of a finger is a little thing. But sometimes, little things make a big difference. Fast balance on your mobile from HSBC. It's a big little thing.
Your face takes a beating from a lot of things. Your razor shouldn't be one of them. The Gillette Pro Shield has lubrication strips before and after the blades. Helps shield from irritation in a close, comfortable shave. Gillette.
The boiler's on the blink again. What am I going to do? Quick, think.
Restore some order. Find out more at quickquid.co.uk.
The sale of the summer is ending at DFS. Get the Rupert Corner sofa, now just £699. And the Anvil sofa, now just £399. And everything's available with 4 years interest-free credit. But be quick, the sale of the summer is ending at DFS.
It's time to unleash the Jaguar within. It's time to demand excitement from every second. It's time for life with more raw. Jaguar XE.
Everyone loves a game changer. Let's start with the Rabona. That penalty. That moment we really started to celebrate. 2000, the Galacticos. Tiki-taka. And now, sports betting has its own game changer. Spin and bet. A chance to increase the odds times 10. So your bet at 2 to 1 could go to 20 to 1. Spin and bet. From the newest name in sports betting, BetStars.
Are you afraid? You're in the great game now. And the great game is terrifying.
Should we begin?
Never a dull moment, is there?
Never.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
I bet it's not like this in the south of France, far from it, because it'll be about 30 degrees for the Catalan Dragons against the Warrington Wolves. You can see that from the Super 8 at 5 o'clock on Sky Sports 2 immediately after this game in East Hull, where the rain has been falling for most of the day and the pitch is waterlogged, and Hull Kingston Rovers have sploshed and splashed their way to a 12-6 half-time lead against the Leigh Centurions. The side that finished top of the championship table has been there for the last 3 seasons, virtually unimpeded, and wants a place in Super League, feels they deserve a place in Super League. They're making a pretty good case so far, and they are within reach of making the case again here today at the Lightstream Stadium. But Hull Kingston Rovers have done well in the conditions. They lead by 12 points to 6. The start was a bit dodgy for them, but for the most part, Rovers have had the best of this first half.
Yeah, they started very well, Hull KR, and that was a brilliant ball from Matty Mice to create that space on the outside for the natural-born try scorer in Ken Seo. They've not been afraid to throw the ball around Hull KR. Chris Clarkson setting up Josh Mantellato, so both wingers have scored tries. And then when Leigh seemed to control the ball and get that position that they wanted, Sam Hopkins, his first touch of the ball, he goes through some soft defence. I'm sure James Webster will be disappointed with that. But they'll come out with a different attitude, I believe, Leigh, in the second half. They're used to winning games.
Well, they are certainly not out of the hunt here, but they've got to tighten up on their discipline. They got caned in the penalty count in that first half, and that was the root of a lot of their problems, wasn't it? They're in discipline.
Well, you look at the pack that Leigh have got. They've got experience. They've got some real aggressive players. Can Leigh improve in this second half? Yes, I do believe that Leigh can improve in this second half. They can score tries. You've already mentioned that the last 3 years they've topped the table. They know how to win games. Every week that when they play and take the field, they're challenged. Everyone raises the game to play Leigh Centurions. Now that they've got to raise their games against genuine Super League sides to try and pick up the 2 points. And Hull KR, as you said, the way that they started that first 12 minutes scoring those 2 tries, they were absolutely brilliant.
Conditions obviously are a big factor in this game. Kicking game is important for the two sides. Rovers possibly have had the edge there. Maurice Blair has been great. There's been fantastic kicks from him.
Well, because of the mistakes and because of the penalties that they've been given, the rain will not stop in this second half. And Maurice Blair, like any good kicker, what he wants is that quick play of the ball on the last tackle so he can kick the ball without any pressure. Now, Martin Ridyard, Barry mentioned in commentary in first half how good he is at organising and kicking the ball. With the pack that Leigh have got, I thought that these conditions would have suited them. Now, the second half, that might be different in this game. I think that they'll come out. Neil Jukes is a very, very good coach. You look at his win ratio, I think he's been in charge for 28 games. He's only lost 3. I think so. He's a brilliant coach. But he just needs to give them that direction in the second half.
I mean, when these two sides met in the qualifiers last season, there was 60 points, 60 plus, but we're not going to see that here, are we? If we get many more points, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, well, last year it was a brilliant first half for Leigh Centurions, then they collapsed. Neil Jukes is hoping that it's going to be a brilliant second half for them because they're still in this game just 6 points behind at half-time.
Absolutely, it is very, very well balanced, this game. Centurions, for all their problems, the penalty count, the handling errors, they are still in the hunt here at the Lightstream Stadium against the Hull Kingston Rovers side. Well, a win for them would take them a long way closer to ensuring their Super League status, and they know how important the next 40 minutes will be.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
Paddy Power can't get Tiddles back, but we can put the smile back on your face. For this Sunday's World Cup qualifier, back a team to win in the Slovakia v England game and get a free bet if they're losing at half-time. Now that'll set the cat among the pigeons. Paddy Power, you're welcome.
When jazz first hit New York hit back. One man heard no color in music. All John Hammond wanted was great jazz.
I've got my mindset on you. I've got my mindset on you. I've got my mindset on you. I know what I've got to do.
Checking your bank balance with the swipe of a finger is a little thing. But sometimes, little things make a big difference. Fast balance on your mobile from HSBC. It's a big little thing.
So, say you was after a loan go. There ought to be this one fantastic clever website where you can check out a load of options all together in one place. So you know you was getting a really straight deal. Be well fantastic.
Go compare.
Oh!
It's all good news, there's loads to choose at Go Compare.
Fantastic!
From loans to plastic, they're quite fantastic. Oh. Nothing quite compares to Go Compare.
Fantastic! At Argos, our baby event is now on, with great savings on over 1,000 baby and toddler essentials. This Mamas and Papas Swirl Pushchair is half price, only $59.99. And save up to 25% on hundreds of mattresses from trusted brands like Silent Night and Sealy. And get it faster with delivery from the very next day. Plus, this Dyson V6 cordless vacuum is just £189. Go get great deals. Go Argos.
This is the future of entertainment. This is Sky Q. Now, for the first time ever, you can record 4 shows at the same time while you sit back and enjoy a 5th. And you can keep more of the shows you love by storing even more than Sky Plus. This is fluid viewing, only with Sky Q. Upgrade from just £12 extra a month. Call us or search Sky Q.
It's time to unleash the Jaguar within. It's time to demand excitement from every second. It's time for life with more raw. Jaguar XE.
Pound for pound #1 fighter in the world is coming to the UK.
Who would want to get in a ring with him?
He's dangerous. He's an animal.
Destroying everyone in his path. He's one fighter, man. People are running from Golovkin.
In steps Kell Brook, a guy who's stepping up 2 weight divisions to fight the most feared man on the planet.
Can Kell Brook conquer boxing's best? Golovkin v Brook, next Saturday on Sky Sports Box Office. To order, see Channel 491 or go to skysports.com/Golovkin Brook.
The Tifosi are here in number and expectant.
The Italian Grand Prix, live on Sky Sports F1.
Get set for a thrilling weekend.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
Wet afternoon in East Hull. Meanwhile, looking forward to next week when hopefully things will dried up. On Thursday, it's St Helens against Castleford, 7:30. Sky Sports 1 for that one from the Super 8s. Friday, Hull FC against Wigan. Sky Sports 2 at 7:30, and then back for the qualifiers in Leigh Sports Village against the Huddersfield Giants, the Centurions. 3 o'clock, Sky Sports 2 for that.
Okay, mate.
40 minutes to go here. And
just
Hull
your left
KR
edge
lead
needs to hold
at
on
the
the
break,
10.
12-6.
We're all right when you're ready. I told Matt Dawson, Corey.
They know that they've got a lot of work to do in this second half because Centurions haven't become the force they are in the Championship without a lot of grit and determination. And they've got characters in that side with plenty of that, including this man, Rennie Matua.
Move, James,
comes the end of an illustrious career. The former Australian and Samoan international.
Move, James! Line! Hold, Kev, go!
They've got a lot of experience, haven't they, Rennie Matua? An outstanding player. Here's the kick on the 3rd play.
Drinkwater was looking for a 40-20, but it was a 40-30.
Yeah, he's disappointed. He didn't quite get the depth that he was after. Drinkwater, you could see, he just hit it. It goes off the pitch, but he wanted a bit more distance. It was probably too high for the scrum half, what he was after. But it's still a decent kick. It turns Hull KR around. They've got to come out of 30 metres from their line. So Hull KR need to make sure that they complete this set of 6. And well, Leigh Centurions, what can they do in defence? Seen it in the first half, the amount of players that hit the ball. There's always going to be some mistakes in these conditions.
It's going to be a big start to the second half for the Centurions, you feel. They really are going to try and rattle Rovers. Well, they tried to rattle Rovers in the first half at the start of that, and they just got penalised incessantly by the referees. So you're going to have to do it with a bit more nous, perhaps.
Yeah, you can do it, but make sure you're disciplined. Make sure you're disciplined, you're back with the referee, you can get off, you can come up with some intimidating defences. Look at this for the high kick.
Maurice Blair putting McNally under pressure. Great chase as well. McNally turned, and he was gobbled up.
As soon as he catches that ball, McNally, he just moves 2 steps and he's already caught.
Move, Robbie. Hold here, hold.
Let's get some half-time news then. Find out what was said by the two coaches ahead of this second half. Here's Angela.
Thanks, Bill. As you can imagine, the weather, both coaches think, will be a factor in this second half, particularly, says James Webster, for them. Ball security is very important for them. Kicking the ball, holding the ball is going to be key to winning this second half. Rotations are going to be an issue for them too, because Ken Seo, who you saw coming off just before the end of the first half, has an eye injury, a cut across his top eyelid, and he's on his way to hospital. Neil Dukes for Leigh Centurions said they grew into that first half, although they had 3 times more penalties. It meant that more play the balls for the other side, so they're really catching them up and need to maintain that in this half. They're hanging in there and they're taking confidence from that.
Oh, Ken Seo, that's an unfortunate outcome for him. The try scorer in the first half, or a first half try scorer for Rovers, Seo. And
it was a shocking head clash, but his first reaction was to get up and play the ball, wasn't it? Not lie down on the floor.
He's been a virtual ever-present this season, Ken Seo.
3, move, ready, go.
Greenwood somehow gets that away, and then Lawler spills the ball in the tackle, and Matua picks it up.
Well, he picks out Corey Patterson, who was very good in the first half, the number 13 for Leigh Centurions. Come up with 26 tackles. Just look at that. Again, just hits the ball, puts his shoulder into Lawler. And there's the mistake. And there's no need telling that man Lawler. He knows that he's made a mistake. Right on halfway, but good defence from Corey Patterson.
George Lawler getting a lot of game time this season because of Rovers' various injury problems. Their Academy Player of the Year last year he was.
Hasn't he stood up well, George Lawler? He's a versatile player, second row loose forward. Having a spell in the middle at hooker.
Centurion supporters trying to rally their team. Good number here today at the Lightstream Stadium. Made the journey for this one. Looking for a good start to the second half from their team.
Release George, 3.
And they're in possession now with Harrison Hansen about 30 metres out and going to the right with the hands from Ridyard, but that's good defence from Rovers on Mitch Brown. Gets the ball back in field and Dixon falls on it to salvage it for the Centurions.
He does well to get that ball away, and Dixon was there. He was alert at that offload.
Back come Leigh with Sam Hopkins back in the fray after his head knock. It's on the last. Crossfield kick from Drinkwater. It's too strong. Too strong it was. And Dawson tried to make something of it, but it was just going over his head.
Yeah, and the last tackle as well, so it'll be Hull KR's ball 10 metres from the line. Look at the height on that kick. Matty Dawson tries everything to get the ball back inside to Worthington. Unfortunately, can't do that. Look at this. Oh, there you go, Harrison Hansen.
Well, Hansen flung himself. I think it was at Mulhern, was it? And Mulhern's just picking himself up. But at least he held on to the ball.
Sorry, Bill, there's only one way to defend. When you're close to your opponent's line, you just get off your line, get your body in front, and hit them with absolutely everything.
3, move!
Rob Mulhern still down as Lawler gets up. There's again some ferocity from the Centurions. Tilse is upended. Like a giant redwood falling in a forest, Dame Tilse. Mulhern is coming off the field, and I think it's a head knock again.
Clear.
The kick is out on the ball, and that is a good set from the Centurions. It's rattled Rovers.
Sensational set defensively, lots of intensity. And Maurice Blair under pressure from Leigh. He can't get an accurate kick away, but it all began with that line speed and that hit on Rob Mulhern. who's leaving the pitch, as you say.
He's going to come forward to the touch.
I was making the point just before half-time, you're very deliberate with your run. If you see a defender coming towards you, in conditions like this, you can't necessarily guarantee that your studs, your footing is going to get you out of trouble. You almost have to brace for impact.
Well, this is a good opportunity for the Centurions now.
There we go, look at this. Oh!
I thought it was Hansen who was going to come off second best, but it's Hansen in possession now.
It looked like it the way his head dropped back, didn't it?
Well, this is a massive opportunity for Dixon! And Dixon is in for the Centurions. And their ferocity is rewarded. Andrew Dixon, his 5th try of this qualifying series, is on the end of that move, and the Centurion supporters sensing a second-half fight back here. It's underway with Andrew Dixon's try.
Well, you win games through your defence, and Harrison Hansen threw everything into that tackle on Mulhern, where they lose the ball, they force possession, and Andrew Dixon scores a try. He hits a very good line. And when you play against Leigh Centurions, you know that you're going to be under pressure. On the last play, Maurice Blur kicks the ball out on the full. And it was the best defensive set. Look at that for a controlled offload from Martin Ridyard. Barry talked about him when he has his hands on the ball. He's a very talented player. He squares up the defender, and as soon as he's got the defender interested, that's the only time that he will offer the ball to that man Dixon.
Well, Andrew Dixon was hiding in plain view. He's got the hairstyle of a samurai warrior, and he seemed to come out of the shadows, find the ball in his hands, the correct line. He did well to catch that ball 10 metres and dab the ball down, getting his side back into the game.
Back into the game, this to draw level. Hull Kingston Rovers 12, Leigh Centurions 12.
Well, field position is imperative. I'm going to repeat myself. Through a good set of defence, some intimidating tackles.
That was
the right.
Clever play from Ridyard, wasn't it? Got straight at Maurice Blur, and that's where the space was created.
And now the Centurion supporters really are raising the rafters at their end of the Lightstream Stadium.
Well, now it's Hull KR's turn to put the pressure on. Sam Hopkins here, he earns his side a penalty. Again, it's footwork at the line in these conditions. Skips on the outside of Kevin Leroy, the French international, and it's the lunging arm.
Yeah, that was all right. Okay.
Again, look where they are, just from the penalty.
Over the line, over the
They're
line.
now going to get the ball
Chris,
out of their half into Hull KR's half.
Well, they'll have been cheering that Andrew Dixon try in Toronto, because he's signed for the Toronto Wolfpack for their entry into the competition next season. Him and Johnny Pownall from the Centurions signing for Paul Rowley's team. But in the here and now, Dixon's try, converted by Ridyard, has brought the scores level here. This was always going to be a tight contest. The conditions have just added to that element. And Leigh, well, they've started the second half really looking as though they mean business. Drinkwater dinks a kick in. Cockayne has lost it, and they're in for another try, and it's Dawson. Dawson has scored, or has he? Cockayne couldn't gather the kick.
It will be tackle
Dawson
zero.
fell on it.
I have a try. Can you just check the grounding, please?
I don't think there's a problem here, Bill.
Check the grounding?
They're playing with so much speed in this second half, the Leigh Centurions. You talked about the kicking game at the start of the game, how important it's going to be for both sides, whether it's attacking kicks or you're looking to get that position. Look, there's nothing wrong. Everyone's onside. Everyone's looking at the ball. They're timing the run to perfection. Ben Cockayne goes up. He loses the ball. There's no contact before he even hits the ground. And you can see the Leigh players just pulling back, waiting for him to go to ground. There's the mistake. Dawson sees the ball. It bounces up straight into his arms. That's a clean catch. And this is going to be a clean put down. No problem. No problem. Big start for Leigh Centurions in this second half. Well, you can see that
James Childs still looking at something in this game.
Well, René Matua, Dawson and Worthington, they were all on side.
And the on-field decision is a try. Can't actually see what we're looking at here.
There's no problem here with the put down.
Robert Hicks waiting for the decision from radio ref James Childs. The Leigh Centurion supporters right behind him. He gives the try. Good decision, Robert.
Well, last year, the second half belonged to Hull KR. This year, is it going to belong to the Leigh Centurions? Some fans hope it is going to.
Matty Dawson with another try. He's got tries in all the 4 qualifiers so far now, 5 to date. Big smile on his face.
Well, again, look at that clever kick. The kick's only as good as the chase, and Ben Kikane, he does everything right. He turns his back, tries to catch that ball, unfortunately lose it, and that man's theirs to pick it up.
Kick, the conversion from Ridyard is wide, but Leigh have turned this round. 12-6 down at half-time. They lead by 16 points to 12 now, and the Rovers fans, a bit of urgency from them now.
Well, that kick, I think, really shows the difficulty in the conditions, because it was an end-over-end kick rather than a spiral kick. You back Ben Kikane to catch them all day and all night. Unfortunately, he couldn't. And now Hull KR 4 points behind on the scoreboard. Wow, they've got a lot of work to do.
Get square.
Rovers rattled now.
All the way.
They looked pretty comfortable
on the mark, Dave.
When they were 12-0 up.
Bill, I'm not counting Hull KR out, and Leigh Centurions can't afford to do the same. They've got some class and quality players that will know how to handle these situations.
But if Leigh can go on from here, well, what a result this would be for them. They'd be 4 from 4, and they would be virtually home and dry.
Look at the speed from that man, Liam Hood. His quality from dummy half.
And they really have got the tails up now, and so has Corey Patterson. Patterson's ball! They're in for a try for Drinkwater, and just Drinkwater under the post, and Leigh have turned this game around. What a transformation here at Hull KR. They have come out in the second half and ripped into Rovers. The Robins don't know what's hit them. Well, it's just Drinkwater on the end of a run from former Rovers man Corey Patterson. No wonder those Centurions fans are celebrating. They can't believe it.
Well, he's an influential player, Josh Drinkwater. Well, look at this. Perfect again. Patterson hits a very good line. What about this for a pass? From Patterson goes over the shoulder of a Hull KR player, and Drinkwater's there in support, pushing up. I'm sure this try is going to be converted, but this is Leigh playing with confidence at the line, changing direction. Corey Patterson won't go off the ground. He knows that if he can turn and he sees one of his teammates in space, they'll score a try. Excellent start to this second half.
3 tries in 5 minutes for the Centurions. And Josh Drinkwater getting the latest of them. His 8th try all told since he signed in May, the former London Broncos man who went back to the NRL and is back now in the Championship, or in the qualifiers as it is now, and the conversion from Ridyard. Leigh, well, look at that. You would not have predicted that at half-time.
Well, wonderful recognition there. Look at Dane Tilts really struggling to close that gap defensively. He recognises that Ridyard, he feeds it on the angle. The angles and changes of direction will be a friend in bad weather, and that's a fabulous finish from the Centurions.
That's hallmark try from this Centurion side.
Hold now, hold.
Well, Hull Kingston Rovers have already suffered an ignominious defeat at the hands of Championship opposition this year. It was in the Cup
James, come on, Kevin.
to Oldham,
Hold.
and they might be having nightmares and reliving those painful moments, because Leigh, with all respect to Oldham, are even more imposing opponents.
Well, they're a side that's littered with ex-internationals, aren't they? Very tough, uncompromising in defence, and when they like to play rugby, they'll play rugby.
Well, they played all the rugby in this second half.
Okay.
As Drinkwater hoists a kick. This time, they managed to deal with it, and Minns gets his hand on the ball.
Well, they need a couple of good sets here now, just to settle the nerves. I said earlier on, Hull KR have only won 3 of the last 9 matches. So they're not in that winning formula.
If you were giving a man of the match award, just right now, I'd give it to Harrison Hansen.
Well, he's made an impact, hasn't he? In defence, he's been absolutely brilliant.
Inspirational sort of impact he's had.
Hold.
Yeah.
Wait, go. 10.
So Marsh drills a kick upfield. Rovers need to just settle themselves down, gather their senses, and not panic. Long way to go in this game. They turned it round against the Centurions last year in the qualifiers when all hope seemed lost at 24-6. They're going to have to do something similar again here. 22-12, they trail now.
Well, they need to dictate the speed, because in this second half, the way that Leigh have come around, they're playing Martin Ridyard, the man who's passed the ball. He's got a very good kicking game, as has his half-back, Josh Drinkwater.
Come on, Leigh!
They're taking control, but look, Liam Hood again from dummy half. It's too quick for that man.
Hull Kingston Rovers desperate to avoid involvement in that £1 million game between 4th and 5th place sides in the qualifiers. Defeat here, though, and that might make that more of a prospect, and they're having trouble containing the Centurions as Drinkwater eventually opts to put the kick in, and it's gathered by Minns. Hansen again there leading the challenge, and a penalty, a welcome relieving penalty for Hull Kingston Rovers. Leigh just a bit too keen.
They know that they've got them on the ropes. Dawson, I think the man who's penalised.
There it is. That's the one Rovers don't want to be in. Leigh don't look as though they're going to be in. It's October the 1st on Saturday, 2:55 for that one.
You fancy Leigh the way they're playing in the second half to get an automatic promotion.
What a story that would be to have 2 Super League sides fighting in a match. Reminiscent of that great game between Castleford and Wakefield.
Well, as it stands at the moment, London are in, despite their defeat at Huddersfield, London are in that zone.
It's an exciting competition, isn't it? Especially if Leigh can go away from here with the 2 points. It'll be absolutely brilliant.
Marsh onto Cockayne. Cockayne out wide to Minns. Minns comes back inside, keen to avoid the fate he suffered with the first tackle of the game.
Still 4.
Greenwood's run. They're keeping the ball alive. The ball skidding across the field. Mantellato does well there.
Saw 2 players pull out of passes there. A little bit of anxiety in the Hull KR ranks.
On the last, little kick ahead from Thornley. Well, that's a positive for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah, well, Greg McNally not taking any chances there. He just sticks his boots out. Didn't want that ball to hold up in the in-goal area and rely on his wingman, Andrew Higson, to get the ball.
There's a knock on there from Higson. He is furious at that.
Well, he's complaining to the referee. He thought there was some interference. And now Leigh, well, they're the team that's going to be under pressure. He goes down as he's getting up. What happens? No, it's a clean loss.
Mate, he's coming out.
When he's getting up to play that ball, he's got to have better control. And when he looks at that again, Adam Higson, he'll realise that it's his mistake. Well, this has been a rip-roaring second half, and I'm sure that Eddie Hemmings will be on his way over there. He'll have threw the blanket off, sat at home watching it on his couch, and he'll be coming over. He's missed an absolute brilliant game of rugby league.
Head in, Sean. Ball out. Back up.
Blanket, Tez. I think he has one of them where you put both feet in.
So head and feed to Hull Kingston Rovers. Their opportunity to respond to this salvo of points from the Centurions. But look at that.
It was a bit slow, that carry from Dane Tilt. I'm not sure whether he was expecting it or not.
Lunt is trying to fire Rovers up. The 2 hookers, Lunt and Lawler in tandem there. Lunt again. The ball sits up, ricochets, and comes to nothing for Hull Kingston Rovers. A chance squandered.
Bill, we've seen the mistakes in this game because of the conditions. Trying to catch a ball at the line when you've got a defender right in front of you, literally less than a metre. It's very difficult. There's a problem here. Dawson, no, he's okay.
Not going to be many Centurions players wanting to miss out for the rest of this second half.
40.
He's inside the 40 as Ridyard as he puts that kick in, and Mantolato has to be quick. Hickson is chasing, and Mantolato gets away from him. Good work from the Rovers wingman.
Sensational chase. Just eluded the defender, did Mantolato. Hull KR need to work hard here. A lot of people walking. Players in the Robin shirt. They need some energy. They need a boost and a lift from somewhere.
Lawler trying to provide that. Sean Lunt. Here's Walker now. Strong running player, Adam Walker, who's missed only one game this year. And that was right back at the start of February. On the last. Blair. With a good kick.
That's an excellent kick.
Chase maybe not as enthusiastic as he was in the first half from Rovers.
Well, they're there now. They're there now. Leigh Centurions trapped at the bottom in the corner. Let's see what their efforts are like here. A couple of players up top, catch the players, then try and pin the knees together, take them to ground, make it as slow as they can.
Remember, no Albert Kelly, remember, for Hull Kingston Rovers because of disciplinary reasons. And news from the sidelines as Leigh knock on. Quick word from Angela.
Yeah, you saw Rob Mulhern come off 15 minutes ago. Well, he's failed to pass at the concussion test. He's still locked away in the treatment room, so not quite sure his condition right at the moment, but definitely will not be coming back on for the second half.
Well, that is a blow for Hull Kingston Rovers in a real battle of attrition out there. We've seen Ken Seo off to hospital. He's got a knock on the head or bang on the eye, and now Rob Mulhern is off.
And James Webster said that will affect our rotation. Well, another player, that's only going to make the situation worse. Big players in conditions like this, playing extended game time.
Dane, get away and don't strike.
It really is stretching the Rovers' resources at this critical stage of the season and a critical phase of the game now.
And that's where all the experience are coming from, likes of Danny Tickle, Mickey Hyam, Gareth Hopp. All those players now could have a big influence in this game.
And the players for Hull KR, let's be right, Tez. In games like this, you show your character, you show your mettle, you earn your reputation. James Greenwood, who's just going down with a little bit of anguish, he's shown up well.
They don't need another forward to pull up Hull KR. Greenwood, though, is still down and in a lot of discomfort. There he is as play continues. Oh, Blair, little grubber kick from him. Oh, excellent hands from McNally.
I think there's a penalty.
Yeah, you spotted it, Tez. It was too much pressure for Robert Hicks, and he's having a word with Dane Weston.
He doesn't miss. Hunting from the inside, putting pressure on the smaller man, going at the line, straight over the top. Was it Matty Marsh?
Wait till he comes. Overall, your team is pretty well disciplined. But he is the one issue
pick up
for
from
me.
McNally, been negated that has because of the penalty. Dane Weston getting a ticking off from Robert Hicks.
He struck at a scrum and now he's late on a passer. He is going to cause you more problems than I will. Late.
Dane Weston was actually honoured at the Centurions Awards night the other night. He picked up 2 awards, the Players' Player and the Coaches' Player of the Year. He also signed a new deal actually at the awards night there and then to stay with the club. Very popular player, but his penalty has put the Centurions under a bit of pressure here. How will they respond?
Well, it's a big set for them, isn't it, now, in defence.
Here is Walker.
3, Dane. Holding against square. Line, Greg.
About 8 metres out now as he plays the ball, but they're lacking a little bit of pace. Blair, quick hands from Marsh. Cocaine, they've got the overlap. They didn't have the pass. Shocking ball.
They created space, they had an overload of numbers, but unfortunately the pass went on the floor.
Great opportunity that was. If it had gone to hand, Mins surely was going to be in there.
Get square.
Nerves from Hull Kingston Rovers. On the last now, Blair's kick, there's a shove there, and Leigh picked the ball up anyway.
It could have been offside, Kevin Leroy. They would have scored a try. Sure, it would have gone to the video referee. Well, now it's Hull KR's turn to see what they can do in defence.
Hold.
It's a good game in the second half. It's really opened up. Everyone's putting their hands up. Everyone wants to carry. Everyone wants to be involved, whether it be in defence or attack.
Hold. Oh, he held all of his
Really has been a tricky afternoon for Hull Kingston Rovers. They did have that 12-0 lead, but there were the off-the-field problems beforehand with Albert Kelly's suspension. The club releasing a statement just half an hour before kick-off to confirm the widely rumoured suspension of their number 7 player for a breach of club discipline. It's not the sort of preparation you want before a big game. Half an hour before kick-off, you're having to issue a statement explaining why your number 7 isn't playing.
The players in the squad would have already known that.
Well, I'll tell you what, apparently the players in the squad have told their number 7 exactly what they think of him.
It's a time to stick together. Obviously, the club, Hull KR, are under pressure. And in this game, they've been under pressure. As a player, you want to be involved in matches like this where there's a lot at stake, everything to earn, everything to gain. But you've got to do the hard yards. And you've got to fall within the club and the team's discipline. That includes what's acceptable and unacceptable in the changing room.
Well, at the moment, Rovers trail by 22 points to 12 to the championship top dogs, the Leigh Centurions. And Leigh know that they win this one to maintain a 100% record in the qualifiers, then they are within sight of that Super League place. They've still got games to come, of course. They've got the Giants next Saturday at home against Huddersfield. Then they've got Batley, and then they finish off with a game at Leeds. But it might be done and dusted before then.
What game that'll be against Huddersfield.
There's a knock-on from Hull KR.
Well, they're celebrating. Mickey Hyam, Corey Patson, they're all going high-fiving each other. But again, numbers into the tackle. Tickle, Hyam, Hopkins over the top.
Andrew.
That looks like lose the ball. Sorry, Tez. That looks like a good decision now. Neil Jukes went with 3 front rowers: Gareth Hock, Dane Weston, Danny Tickle. The start of the match. Obviously, it didn't go all their way in that first half, but sometimes you pave the way in the first half for everything that happens in the second.
Surrender! Go!
Brown plays the ball, and Hickson stumbles his way infield.
2, move, Kevin, come on! Hull is 10.
He's lost that ball, he's lost it. Last round's hero, Adam Hickson, blotting his copybook a bit today.
Yeah, he was brilliant last game, seen him play.
No, you're right,
against Salford, but again, just the effort to get up, play the ball. He's got to make sure that when he gets up, he plants the ball down on the ground. He's got full control. And because he didn't regain his feet, and when he tries to put that ball down, he just that slip, which forces him to lose that pass.
Please. Morris, wait for me.
So Leigh, well, they're offering the ball, they're offering the chances to Hull KR.
Stand up. Let's get
but it's just what Hull KR, when they have the ball, can they be disciplined with the ball when they have it?
Very different qualifying experience for the Centurions this year. Last year they managed 1 win from 7 matches, and that was against Championship compatriots Sheffield. Didn't really offer a challenge to the Super League sides. This year, unbeaten, and looking for a second Super League scalp here against Hull Kingston Rovers. And Cockayne goes through. Cockayne needs some support. He's got it. Cockayne has got support from Marsh, and Marsh gets Hull Kingston Rovers back into the game. A crucial tie, and Ben Cockayne, who's had his problems in this match, comes up with a break to pave the way for Matty Marsh's try. Hull Kingston Rovers aren't out of this one.
Well, Matty Marsh created a try early on, gives a good ball here to Maurice Blurt. And Ben Cockayne goes through, shows the dummy, and he knows that as soon as he goes through that line, his halfback's going to be backing up the middle. They've got the dangerous players in Blurt, in Marsh, in Cockayne. They've got their own strike players, and Sean Lunt as well, who's been exceptional this game for Hull KR. It all starts around the ruck area, and the quick play the ball creates that space out wide. And Matty Marsh, well, it's game on now, Bill.
Sean Lunt laying down the law. Meanwhile, Josh Mantolato knows how big this kick is. We have got some final quarter if this goes over. Composes himself, kicks it. Hull Kingston Rovers 18, Leigh 22.
Well, we talked about character a couple of moments ago, being involved in big games, having big moments. Influential characters will come to the fore. It starts with Ben Cockayne, who makes only the 4th line break for Hull KR in this game, and it ends up with a try for the young, impressive Matty Marsh.
Onside, boys.
Just 19 years of age. Apologies if you picked up some strong language. But emotions running high here in this game, as you would expect, with so much at stake. And now, what a final quarter we have got. Final quarter of an hour we have got.
Go, well done.
Some nerves as well here from both sides. Leigh in control. What did they do? Did he just shut up shop? Just keep trying to get to the kick. Did he attack? Hull KR now just forcing the pressure.
Cockayne, the crowd thinking that their full-back was taken high. Ben Cockayne didn't like that and points out the fact that his scrum cap is almost removed.
Well, that could have been a flop from Corey Patterson, and then when he goes into that tackle, and it's just up the tempo a bit, hasn't it, that try?
Marsh with the kick, and it's not a bad one. Bobbles, but sits up nicely from McNally. Just 19 years of age, Matty Marsh, and this is a heck of a game for a player just making his way in the game to be involved in. But he's shown up well as Matty Marsh.
Well, there has been some big shots. Maurice Blur on that occasion on Brown. You've got to be brave now as a rugby player. Corey Patterson,
he's played well. He's played well. Defended strong all afternoon for the away side, and took the ball up and took the challenge to his opposition. 36 tackles he's made so far. Corey Patterson.
Hock, was he leading with his elbow then? But Rovers fans certainly felt so. But here they come now, once more the Centurions. That needed to be a good tackle. That's a
Thomas
bit.
Minns.
It was Minns, and Minns is hobbling. Drinkwater's crossfield kick. Mantolato is underneath it, almost away.
He's dealt with everything, Mantolato. Whenever they've challenged him, one of the biggest players. And Catalan Warrington will follow this game. That kicks off at 5 o'clock. Can't wait to watch that game.
Hold it, Andrew. Hold go.
Important game that in the Super 8s, of course.
Me.
There's players hobbling all over the field. Matty Dawson is struggling. Minns is struggling. Cockayne lost the ball. Good challenge. Knock on by the Rovers fullback.
He's offside, him.
Well, when he loses this ball forward, one of the Hull KR players picks it up in front of Ben Cockayne. So it's a penalty now. Here, do you go for 2 points? You're 35 metres out, you're to the left of the sticks, you take the 2 points, don't you, Barry?
I've got a question for you. Does Ben Cockayne have that ball ripped out?
So he
That's
gets
my
a minute
question.
from
When
the
Ben
time he lets
Cockayne
the kick a goal. He gets a
Matty
minute.
Dawson in his eye line, he has hold of the ball.
I think he loses that ball. He loses that ball, and Matty Marsh, he stood in front of him in an offside position.
Let's have a look at this angle.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think he has it knocked out, but the referee agrees with you, so...
Thank you.
And Martin Ridyard's lining up the 2 points here.
He's kicked 124 goals so far this season, Ridyard. So you'd fancy him to kick this one, even though it's from distance. He's thumped that one right on target.
Well, Bill, coming into the last 10 minutes, 6 points in front. Do you go down the centre of the field, you try and get the 1 point, you bet your bottom dollar that's what Leigh are going to be building for. Look at it, as soon as he strikes it, he knows straight over the black dot. Perfect kick.
What about the reaction? What about the reaction from the Leigh fans? They're all hugging each other already. They don't, either they can't tell the time or they're confident that the game is over.
10 minutes. There has never been a draw in the qualifiers, in the short history of the qualifiers, that is. And there is still time for that to eventuate here.
It's a huge 10 minutes for both sides. Both sides can still win this game. They've got enough strike, they've got enough threat, power and pace to score a try.
Never been a draw, never been an away win for a championship side. But Leigh have that very much in their sights. McNally claims that, claims the pass, and then at simplest of balls, and Mitch Brown just took his eye off the ball.
Well, we were only complimenting Corey Patterson on his afternoon. He catches that ball, it goes behind him. His first instinct, get it out wide, get it to a faster player. I think if he had his time again, he'd take a couple of strides and then feed the centre.
But to be fair to Corey Patterson, it wasn't a bad ball, was it? Mitch Brown should have caught that. There was nobody really in front of him.
Head in H. Ball in,
It
please.
might have been marginally forward as well.
Ball out. Come.
Here is Maurice Blair.
Help! Release!
On halfway, Hull Kingston Rovers desperate to find a way through this Centurions defence. Leigh dominating this second half. They came out and hit Rovers with those 3 tries in 5 minutes, and look at that, the Centurions defence marshalled across the field, and René Matua dragging Blair to the ground.
Well, this is now the period where you have to really work hard for each other. Again, Harrison Hanson's going hunting. René Matua pins the legs together, takes the hook arm man to ground.
A groan there from the Rovers supporters as their attack just misfires, and it misfires again. There was a Centurions hand in there. Rovers are complaining there was, says the referee. Head and feed to Hull KR. Get that scrum packed, they're saying.
Time off.
Well, Hickson, he's coming all through the year and he's made a very good account of himself. He goes to close that down. The shorter numbers on the right side. He makes a play, touches that ball, and again, well, they're under pressure. And the players were asking the referee, Robert Hicks, what had happened in that decision. They thought that Hulkar had knocked the ball on first.
Discipline, boys.
And then it came off Hicks in the second defence.
Nearly 7.5 here at the Lightstream Stadium on a filthy Saturday afternoon. It really has been a horrible spectator experience, shall we say.
It's a lovely day. It's a lovely day.
Priest Hull, maybe.
Everyone's enjoying it.
It's a cracking game, that's for sure.
Surrender!
Donaldson.
Stand, hold,
on the 40-metre line in the Centurions half. Leigh have got to hold their nerve. They've got to make their tackles. They've got to avoid conceding the penalties. Rovers have got to find a way through. The clock is against them. Here is Donaldson once more.
3, move! Oh, boys, wait, go.
He plays the ball.
Go, mate.
Lawler.
4, move, Gareth.
4 tackles gone.
Line ready. Line.
Centurions line holding firm. Marsh. Cockayne, though, slips the pass out the back door. It's going backwards, and Clarkson has lost it.
0. Surrender.
Well, under pressure, Greg McNally did a fantastic job in that set 6.
0.
Marshalling his troops, putting him left to the play of the ball, right to the play of the ball, numbering up and making sure everything was right.
And
all of a sudden, this mistake, the offload from Cockayne to Chris Clarkson, who couldn't take the ball.
2, move, hold is 10, hold for the foot. Go.
Dixon plays the ball. Leigh counting the minutes, edging towards another big scalp in these qualifiers. They've beaten Salford last time out, and now they're just 6.5 minutes away from accounting for another Super League side. The Rovers fans starting to head for the exits.
A couple of strong carries here, up centre field and set up for the 1 point.
Come on. Hold, go.
The ball is with Drinkwater, who hits a scudding kick, which Cockayne fields. Well, that didn't quite work out as planned.
They've got to go for the 90 metres, though, haven't they? That's the outcome, even though they didn't get the drop goal and the result that they wanted. Hulkar have a long way to go to score that crucial, vital try.
3,
Mantellato
slipping. Danny, get square, Corey. Go. Well done, Gareth.
Patterson up to the 40-metre line. Tills it was up to the 40-metre line. Here's Walker bouncing off one, gets the pass away to Blair. Blair to Leroy, shoves aside one, but can't cope with the challenge from Patterson.
Wait, go.
It's on the last. Blair.
Clear.
Kicks across field. Not such a bad kick, but finds touch, and Mins couldn't get there.
Maurice Blair, he needed more time, he needed a better pass. By the time Ian Thorley had passed him the ball, he was under pressure. You see Thomas Mins in the frame, he's playing on the wing. Chris Clarkson is playing on the centre. The last passage of play where Ben Cockayne offloads the ball and it goes on the floor, the timing was way off. Players playing out of position.
Let's work to the end, boys, keep responding.
And the obstacles in front of Hull KR are getting more and more and more.
Let's get in. Heads in. Heads in.
5 minutes to go. Leigh Centurions ahead by 24 points to 18.
You've got to bind with him, mate. You can't have that arm loose. Get your heads in, Corey. Can't bind in.
A fourth straight win in these qualifiers is within sight of the Centurions now, and so is Super League.
Release! One. Hold, Sean. Hold. Hold. Go.
Here is Mickey Hyam.
Surrender!
Big influence on this Centurion side. Very vocal, especially in that opening quarter of the game when things weren't going for them.
Yeah, Bill, when everything was going against them, he was the player who took control. He was the player who got them in as a group and give them that direction that they needed. Whether it be about the way that they were giving penalties away, making those mistakes, he took control in the early stages.
But those words don't carry the weight unless you back it up with some action, and Mickey Hyam, as he's done all afternoon, is trying to put those words into action and lead his team.
This time Drinkwater's gone for it, and that's why it was a better effort from Josh Drinkwater, second half try scorer for Leigh, but they're still not home and dry yet.
Well, at least the ball goes dead from Drinkwater on that occasion. Look how quick that Hull KR are playing the ball. It was the same.
Dropped it.
I put the mockers on him. I put the mockers on him. Den Tills. This is a big mistake, this. He's looking at the likes of Gareth Hock in front of him, René Matua. Josh Mantellato got down, he got up, played the ball very quickly. Tilts just couldn't take that pass in.
That noise, that is the Leigh Centurion supporters on the brink of celebrating another famous win for their side. 3.5 minutes to go.
Tight head, get in, Mick.
And they lead Super League's Hull Kingston Rovers 24-18. This side brought together with quite a number of late signings to bolster their challenge. Well, it's come together. Hyam managing to salvage the situation with the aid of Tickle.
Move, Matty. Hold here. Hold.
Will they go for it? Again, in terms of a drop goal, Hyam taking them into the middle of the field.
Hold. Go.
Hansen looking to get back there as well, and very determined, very deliberate this.
He did well to ride a few tackles then, Harrison Hansen.
Hold the 10. Hold.
4 tackles gone.
Hold. Go.
Will they go for it now?
Ridyard
trying to make space, gets the pass away instead to Patterson. Well, they're still within territory.
Hold.
And Drinkwater is standing back. Ridyard is standing back. One of them surely. Ridyard certainly. Leigh certainly. And surely for Super League.
Well, now you can believe Ridyard gives himself a chance. Stands 15 metres behind the playing ball. No matter what the Hull KR defenders were doing in the line at the play of the ball, they just can't get there. And look at them Leigh fans celebrating. They think it's their year as they go for the short kick-off here, taken by Dixon.
Surrender!
They'll just enjoy the final 2 minutes, and look what it means to those players.
Well, Martin Ridyard, he hasn't had an awful lot of involvements, but what he has been involved in, he's been very accomplished, very cool, very calm. And he was under pressure, Martin Ridyard, when he had to get that away. He'd failed on the previous attempt, but the cool customer Ridyard, the number 6, He certainly believed, and those fans, they believe now.
Move back with me. Hold it,
Leigh aren't
hold,
home and dry yet.
hold, go.
They've got home games to come against Huddersfield and Batley. They've got Leeds away, but
Move,
they're
by the
already,
10.
I think,
Hold now.
assured of
Hold,
avoiding
go.
that £1 million game. A fate that might befall a Super League side, 2 Super League side. Hull Kingston Rovers conceivably could be involved in that. What a scenario we have got developing in these qualifiers. Leeds will be feeling mighty relieved. 100% record at the top of the table. Look at what's happening behind him.
Yeah, well, that man, Neil Jukes, he's done a very good job since he's taken over from Paul Rowley. We put all the building blocks in place, and the team that they've assembled, they've got some top players. They've been brought to the club and played for the club by Derek Beaumont.
So good shot of him then in the dugout. He's really in it with the players. Feels every bump and bruise that the players do, and he'll absolutely love this afternoon.
Martin Ridyard taking the man-of-the-man honours for a very cool and calm game amid all the hurly-burly out there. It has been a frantic match, plenty of errors, plenty of penalties, but the second half has belonged to the Leigh Centurions. Coming up next, Super 8's action, Catalan Dragons against the Warrington Wolves. Crucial game for the Dragons, that crucial game for the Wolves. Cockayne trying to engineer something, but a Leigh player is down. It's McNally, I think, who got a bang there as Cockayne came in.
Go back on,
And the two fullbacks just acknowledging each other. That's amazing to see after a game like this.
Well,
you've got time to consider that.
There's been so much desire from both sides. Just wait 20 seconds to go and just have a little look at the Leigh Centurions players celebrate. It's been a big few years for them building to get to this stage. And one more win, surely they'll be in Super League next year.
Hyam, who has been at the age of 35, an inspiration to this Leigh Centurion side. The hooter sounds. The Centurions and their coach Neil Jukes celebrate. Rovers players are on their knees. But Leigh Centurions maintain their 100% record in these qualifiers. 17 wins in a row for the Leigh Centurions. They are on the brink of a place in Super League.
Enjoy Sky Sports Live. On all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.
Proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sport.
One day, a shell found on a beach in Mauritius will go here. A picture of your daughter's graduation will go here. And one day, there'll be pictures of grandchildren here. But for today, it's just a brilliant place for a snooze. Neville Johnson, bespoke lounge, study and bedroom furniture, handcrafted for life. For our latest brochure, visit nevillejohnson.co.uk.
What about car insurance? Imagine this fantastic website where you can check out a shed load of companies.
Be fantastic, would that?
None of those annoying pop-up adverts.
Nothing fantastic about them, Boris.
The exact right quote in minutes.
Fantastic is the word, Boris.
Go compare. Insure your wheels, fantastic deals that you know where.
You'll soon discover your ideal cover.
Nothing quite compares to Go Compare.
Fantastic!
Brotherhood in cinemas now.
No, I'm fine. It's just a scratch, that's all. There's nothing serious. Oh, no. There's no need to call a mechanic.
If your car is written off, you can choose between a replacement, paying for an upgrade, or the money.
Oh, yes.
Churchill, depend on the dog.
Put your phone in the locker, your keys in the locker, work, that traffic jam, put everything in the locker. Don't dilly,
Don't dally. You have a heart, use it. You have senses, switch them on. In a place where you're more than just a number. And when you flop on the sofa at the end of the day, you'll know that was a day well spent. Come to life. David Lloyd Clubs.
When you drive T-Po's wheels and they give you the feels, that's amore. When the traffic is glum, turn the DAB on, that's amore. Trips away, T-Po's great for play, so they say don't delay the boot Stella. So for those in the know, say hello to T-Po, that's amore.